What's up, y'all? My name is Royce the 5'9". Right now, you checking out All Hip Hop.
What's going on, everybody? This your man, Chuck Creekmur. We are here at One World Studios with the one, the only, one of my favorites, Royce, the 5'9".
My brother,
What's good, man?
how you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm glad to have you here again,
Thank you for having me.
as always. So let's just jump right into it. You have on the way a new. Oh no, you know what? Forget that. We're not even gonna talk about album first. Let's talk
Okay.
about Black Savage first.
Okay.
That's the single that's out right now with Saha and T.I. The song is different, very different, very
Really?
well. I
In
think
what way?
it's got a little African,
Oh,
little African vibe going on.
okay.
That's the first part of it that I feel is a little different, and it definitely expands on the maturity that you've shown in the past with like Book of Ryan and everything. Talk about the song a little bit and what it is you were trying to accomplish.
I just started out just working, just working on stuff. I usually just go in there and just start working until something comes to me. That particular song, when I came across the sample, I felt what you felt. I felt like an African vibe. And the sample of the song is the sample where I got the sample from is actually called Black Savage.
Okay.
And that's where I got the title from. But I just thinking to myself, just taking it and songs that words that usually have like a negative connotation to them, like savage, taking it and kind of flipping it around.
Okay.
And savage is like a popular term in our culture right now. So it's kind of like how we did with the word gangster. We took it and we made it many things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
We do that a lot.
yeah, man. Yeah, that's what hip hop. That's what hip hop is so cool. So I just felt like doing that and giving like the opposite of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like of all the negativity, let's get something positive with people who have been associated with negativity, but also associated with positivity, and just give a little bit of balance. And it gave me an opportunity to get some of my favorite MCs on there, and it gave us opportunity to do some visuals that showed black people looking smart,
Regal,
dressing nice. Yeah. And I just wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Like you know me, so I got sober. I looked at everything I had on YouTube. I think one time I went and just kind of like typed my name in. It's just all bad, man.
Right.
So I just time to turn it around. Time
That's
to grow
right.
up.
Yeah, time
That's
to grow
it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was I just did an interview and they asked me who I like better. They said, "Do you like sober Royce better or mature Royce?" I won't tell you my answer.
Okay.
But now that we're seeing mature Royce, do you like mature Royce better?
I think so. I think so. See, it's not a lot that I could go look at for drunk Royce. Wait, sober. You said sober Royce. Sober Royce or mature Royce?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
They must be talking about Royce of late.
Yeah, Royce of
Because
late.
I did mature a little bit.
Yeah.
I did mature. And you know what? They're noticing the maturity probably at a faster rate because my drinking tenure, I did no maturing.
Right.
So I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe mature Royce is just because I'm taking in information a little bit better now. My comprehension skills are a little better.
Right.
And I'm able to apply a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm more strategy oriented. It's just more of a dynamic. Sober Royce is like I know what I'm not doing.
Right.
And going. Mature Royce is I know exactly what I'm doing.
Got you. Now you work with Saha, T.I., and what's the other gentleman's name on the song?
Cyree the Kid
Cyree
and White
the
Goat.
Kid. Right. What made you gather this ensemble? It's like almost feels like a posse cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not, obviously you're not like catching wreck on the song.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm saying? But
yeah.
it's a nice collaboration.
I knew I wanted to work with Sci High on something. One of my favorite MCs.
Yeah, he's so dope.
Yeah, and me and Tip, we worked on a few things before. We never had a chance to like really get nothing out. So he's been on my bucket list as well. When I got the concept underway on the song, the first thing I thought of was like, just people who stand for something. People who are known to stand for something.
Right.
And that's one of the things I respect about Tip so much. Is he stands for everything he believes. You know what I mean? Like
literally, yeah.
And I love people like that.
Right.
I love people like that. So I wanted to get him on there for that reason, and he's a super ill MC. And my man White Gold, I've been working with him for a long time, just sending ideas back and forth.
Okay.
I like working with new guys, young energy. He's super talented, rap, sing, write, make beats. So he's gonna end up on something of mine, regardless.
Right.
Cyree the Kid, T.I. brought him in. I knew who Cyree was. I didn't realize how dope he was until he sent me the idea, and he sent me down the rabbit hole. I went on YouTube and looked his stuff up and was like, wow.
Okay.
So I just like when things come together like that. I kind of just let things happen, and if it's one of those situations where things just start to fall into place, then I know I got something.
Dope. All right, now you, I don't want to label where you are now. It's definitely more mature, but a lot of what I'm hearing almost feels like a conscious vibe. Would you say that? Is it conscious rapper always has a negative connotation. I mean, it's just a label nobody really wants. It's like almost like Christian rappers don't want to be called Christian rappers. And and that's not to brand it corny or anything like that. I actually personally don't think.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I got asked this question earlier, but the guy, the way he worded it, he said conscious. He said, for lack of a better term, conscious or political.
Right.
And I was saying, yeah, I prefer conscious.
Okay.
Over political.
Right. Okay.
It's just like when somebody call you. I've been called a backpacker.
Yeah.
I've been subliminally called backpacker in people's diss raps.
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
Right.
It doesn't bother me. It just is what it is. I can't escape it. I fought that for a long time.
Right.
Hanging around a lot of street dudes. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna accept you just for what you are. You know what I mean? I am a backpacker. I don't wear a backpack, but I'm drawn to the wordplay.
Right.
That's never gonna stop, no matter what.
Right.
I can't shake it, man. It's like it's in control of me. Right. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is. And music evolves so much. One way of doing it is in style today. Another way to do it is in style another day.
Right.
And the goal is just to be here. You know what I mean? It's to be here. It's to survive the many positions and situations that hip hop evolves itself into. So, yeah, definitely conscious. And when I'm making my music, it's always just a reflection of me, who I am at the time, where I am at the time. Right now, I'm extremely conscious as a person.
Right.
Extremely. So if you hear that in the music, it's just me hitting my target.
What's this off in you? Is it just the times, or you've been around long enough to have seen different versions of hip hop?
It's it's the times. It's having children. It's the research.
Right.
It's time alone. We have those awakenings, man.
Yeah. Right.
It happens to me often. I can have a spiritual awakening on the way to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? I'm crazy. I already know it.
Yeah.
But, and it's it's my empathy. Like it's just too much. It's too much going on. It's too much going on. It's too many people who could do something who are not. You ever had a conversation with a white person about white privilege?
It's a tough conversation.
It's very tough.
Yeah.
Very tough.
It's a
that in itself, things like that.
Yeah.
Things like that. It just makes you want to take in more information. It makes you want to be more understanding. Because I had a conversation with somebody like that, and it made me want to understand their side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wanted to find out. I wanted to figure out like the root of the cognitive dissonance. That phrase that's flying around. It's real.
Yeah. It's funny. One of my best friends, one of my longest running friends, is white. And one time, you know, he adopted a black kid from Africa.
Mm.
It's a very white thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's respectfully.
Respectfully.
We had a conversation. I won't go into the details of it, but I said something really in passing, and I didn't mean it as a negative thing. I said, "You're one of the good ones." And like a week or two later, he came back to me with that statement, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't realize I said that," and I think it might have offended him, but I don't think he understands how we see things or how I see things. And even I said, "Hey man, have you seen Roots before?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just tossing little things out there because you're bringing this kid and you're giving him a blessing, really, but you're also opening yourself up to vulnerabilities. So early on, this child is a little older now, but he asked me questions about his hair, just about everything, even lotion, like little things that we take for granted. But privilege is still like a tough conversation. So you want to understand sort of how they feel too. I do.
Yep.
How does that work? Because of the audience you've developed over time, how does that weave into your music? Because like pointing the finger doesn't work. Like,
you know what, man? It's and that's another thing with MCing. It's good to be a backpacker sometimes because you work on certain nuances of it of MCing to get better at, like let's say comedy, for instance, right? Dave Chappelle can say something, and Paul Mooney can say the same thing, and they come across different simply because of the delivery. Right?
Absolutely.
Now they're both greats, but it's something about Dave Chappelle. It's the way he can deliver that message, and the people get it.
Right.
It doesn't divide them. Okay, I think hip hop has the power to do the same thing.
Okay.
So it's good that I have maybe a predominantly white audience. I don't know. But
it's up there.
I'm at a point where I feel like I need to be able to reach them. And there is some instances where I need to speak at the risk of coming off as maybe dismissive or just blunt. Right. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Because now we're in an age where everybody feels like they have to understand everything. And when you're dealing with things, when you're dealing with certain situations where people can hide behind semantics and come up with little things to say to where they can kind of avoid and deflect, somebody has to step up and let them know that there's not a gray area with everything.
Right.
Some things just is what it is.
Absolutely. Facts. Now, Black Savage is being used by the NFL. How is that intertwined with their new initiative?
It's called a song a month.
Okay.
So what they do is they play it on a lot of different segments. I don't really watch football like that, but whenever you hear music, I guess when you're watching a game, it's what I think we heard it on. And I did some of the football shows, like I did interviews with them. I know I did Nate Burleson's show, who's a real good friend of mine. And so I'm constantly getting tweets like, "Yo, I heard the song on this. I heard the song on that." So it's kind of like a licensing thing, but we're more involved with pushing it and partnering up with Roc Nation to do it as well. It's called Inspire Change. So the proceeds from the song goes to the Inspire Change initiative. Yeah.
Gotcha. How is it? Do you think you'll see yourself working with Roc Nation further, or is that something that may be in the cards?
I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I mean, when you say Roc Nation, I think Jay-Z. So
yeah,
of course.
Now, the NFL has been a hot topic. So you said you don't watch a lot of NFL. Is that before Kaepernick or after?
Yeah, it was before. Okay. I mean, I'm a boxing guy. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. I'm a boxing guy. I used to like to play football. I just never got into sitting down and watching it.
Yeah.
I did, however, of course, look at the Kaepernick stuff, but I never sat down and watched it like that.
So how does your consciousness work with the scenario in front of us? It's real weird right now for me. I've said in multiple interviews, like I'm kind of reaching my wits end with the situation because it's like never ending. I'm a football fan, Eagles fan specifically, and I'm just like, am I not going to watch it ever again? Like, I miss my friends. Like I have friends who I exclusively speak to around football, and I'm
People
like,
trying hard as they can. They trying hard as they can. They trying hard as they can to boycott, but they can't do it.
it's tough, man. And now I'm like 3 seasons deep. I'm you know what I'm saying? But do you have any reservations working with the NFL? Do you feel any type of way, like, is it just business?
Um, I don't really have any reservations. I feel like I'm working with Roc Nation.
Yeah.
Like Keno had a conversation with Jason from Tidal. He sent Jason from Tidal the song. They didn't even know. Like Keno said, they explained to him just in conversation, just kicking it. And he was like, look, I got the perfect song for you.
Okay.
And he sent it to him, and they listened to it, and they agreed with him.
Okay.
So that's pretty much how it happened. I haven't spoke to anybody from the NFL.
Right.
I'm not like one of those guys that's like angry at the NFL and anything like that. We passed that point, man. Like I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think the people that's doing a lot of complaining, and they can't see what Jay-Z is trying to do because they just can't see it. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. As long as we have somebody taking steps, I think that's just a step closer to getting to where we need to be. No need to point the finger. No need to complain about the problem. The problem is evident. It's right in our faces. So let's just do what we can.
Okay. Let's talk about the album in general.
Okay.
Let's talk about your album Allegory in general. You have quite a few features. Notably, Griselda is on 3 songs, 4 songs.
I just got Griselda on the album.
Yeah, but
I split them up.
Yeah.
Split them up.
I was like, oh wow, this is a treat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, wow, this is like a bonus. What made you link up with them? And then, like I said, put each one on individual songs. It's kind of like the gift that keeps giving.
I mean, it just kind of happened that way. It wasn't a plan. Nothing was really planned out. And when I'm working on stuff, I very rarely plan features.
Okay.
I knew I can't even remember what I was thinking when I sent Benny a joint. I know Gunn came into town one time, and he was shopping in Ohio. And he called my phone and was like, yo, I'm right next door. I'm going to come pull up on you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm thinking he's like next door. He's like in another city next door, in another state.
Right.
So he pulls up 5 hours later at my studio. And I'm like, what's he come walking in the room with all these chains on. I just start laughing because it's just like, this guy is crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I hugged him. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, I was just shopping in Ohio, so I figured I'll come holler at you. I'm like, all right, cool. So we kicking it, we laughing like we normally do. He told me to play him some beats, so I'm playing him beats. He didn't hear nothing, so we start going through samples. We talking, I'm clicking, going from sample to sample. We stop on one, and he like, yo, what's that? I'm like, oh, you like this one? I go back. Yo, just loop that. I'm like, just loop it? I'm like, well, it's not really enough. It's not, I don't have enough to loop for it to be a complete loop. He's like, yeah, it's enough. So it was just 2 bars, a 2-bar loop. I'm like, but it's literally going to just be the same thing repeating. You sure? He was like, yeah. So I looped it for him, and it's playing. He's like, that's perfect. I'll just write to that right there. I'm like, all right, you sure? You sure you like it? He was like, man, I'll play this shit at my wedding. So like 30, 40 minutes, I came back in the room because I usually like to go out of the room when somebody writing, give them their space. I came back in the room. He was ready to go in the booth.
Wow.
He laid it down, 2-3 takes.
That's crazy.
That was it. And I just built it. I built this rest of the song around him.
Okay, got you. Benny the Butcher's song on your album was his part was recorded here. Right here in One World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they come through all the time, and they I still haven't met Benny.
What?
I haven't met Benny.
You got to meet Benny.
Yo,
man.
they show up at the obscene hours. Be like, I can't just be hanging in the studio at midnight, bro. Like,
they hide Benny. They hide him.
Yeah.
He's like the sniper.
Right.
He's like the hitman. The first time they brought Benny to my studio, he just sat in the corner and didn't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was just muscle or something.
Right.
Then he got up and went in the booth. So while he rapping, I went and called my man Mike. I'm like, who the fuck is Benny? Who the fuck is Benny?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I told you, Benny is the sleeper. I'm like, oh man, y'all tripping.
Yeah.
Y'all tripping. I never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, I was like, yo, that's the nigga right there.
Yeah.
And he was like, I agree. And then maybe a year later, everybody saying his name.
Yeah.
All over my timeline.
Yeah.
That's all I see. Benny.
The butcher coming, nickel.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. You producing now? I mean, have you always been producing?
No, I haven't been. This is my first time.
This is your first album producing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Beats are tight.
Thank you.
You didn't produce the whole album though, right?
Yep.
You produced the whole album?
Whole album.
Wow, that's crazy. Me and Wonder, the owner of One World, we were talking about the album. We're hearing the beats, and we're like, man, beats is tight. What's your thoughts? What's your process when you're producing? I'm really interested because a couple beats we like. First of all, they're very well produced. Then I hear some influences that I think may come from different spaces, people, whatever. What's your approach?
Well, I do all my beats in Logic, and I started out just making beat after beat after beat after beat, and at first I couldn't think of nothing to them. I don't know why, and then after a while, I finally started making stuff that was giving me ideas, and I just started recording to them. It was a long process. I started recording to them, and some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't, but it was just weird balancing both things, you know, and producing. Well, not producing, but beat making is just so new for me. I've always pretty much produced, just not in the beat making sense.
Right.
I pretty much produced in Slaughterhouse.
Right.
You know, like that's where I got a grasp for just song arrangement and all the things that you do, and you don't even realize that you're producing until somebody who produces says, "Yo, you're producing right now."
Yeah.
So I just kind of took everything that I know and learned the software.
Right.
As soon as I learned that, now I can do programming and stuff. I can do everything myself. So I'm just like, you know, and then I learned how to engineer. So it's just basically just me in the studio, just doing everything.
Man. Yeah. That's crazy. That's dope to be able to just create for a living.
Yeah, well, that works for me, you know, because it makes it to where I don't want to do anything else. Yeah. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to hang out, you know, and that's how I stay out of trouble.
Yeah, right.
So, you know.
Speaking of trouble, I saw Obi Trice got in some trouble recently.
That's unfortunate, man.
I mean, that's just a random thought just popped up in my head.
It's relative. I mean, when I looked at it and I read it, I was like, wow, I know that place. Yeah. I know that place. I feel bad because it's like I was in that place.
Right. What do you want to bring to people with the album? Is there, I mean, with the last album, Book of Ryan, I feel like you were like, you know, the bases are loaded, you know, and you're at bat and you just like, you really swinging for the fences, like a real effort. This doesn't feel quite the same. It almost feels like, you know how when things just happen, you know what I'm saying? This feels like a natural space. I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to say, but it feels very like it's doing without trying. That makes any sense to you?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's you just described my Zen space.
Right.
It's like when I finished Book of Ryan and I got in the studio, I start going to the studio because I like to just go even when I don't know what I'm doing. So I was kind of like in a place where I was reaching that point where I felt like I don't know if I really got too much more to say. You know what I mean? Talking to Keno like, yo, man, I might just start focusing on other artists.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be rapping just to be rapping. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm in the studio. I write stuff. I'm really getting the fulfillment out of it. And that's what led to me messing with the beats. So it was the process of making beats and learning how to, you know, do different things with the beats that kind of like brought, you know, some of the creative thoughts out of me with writing. So it started when I got back to a comfortable space with just writing. I agreed to do an EP, and I couldn't figure out how to make 3 or 4 songs fit with each other and it just be a body of work in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that just turned into more songs, and the album just happened, like you said.
Yeah.
I didn't plan it,
Right.
and I've been saying this is the first album that happened to me instead of me planning to do it.
Got you.
And I like for things to come together that way.
Okay.
I like them to come together that way because a lot of times you can try too hard and you can overshoot, you can overthink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just kind of laid back. I kind of know when something is right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an instinct that I have that I think that I rely on to kind of keep me around.
Yeah.
And I've been following that more recently than this.
Gotcha.
Because this has been tricked plenty of times.
Yeah.
Tricky.
You start off the album with Grace, Derek Grace, famed everything almost.
What would you call him?
I asked him what is he. I interviewed him and I asked him. He's like part conscious militant homeschooling dad. He's got a lot of he makes games.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hustler, but he's like super smart and he's another chamber of business that we judge a lot of times based on the look. When I first saw him, I was like, who is this dude? You know what I mean? And he's teaching his kids how to shoot guns and like put them together and all that, and that's how I first got into what he's doing. And then you realize there's so much more to him.
So much more.
Tell us about why you opened the album with Derek Grace.
Everything that he's teaching those kids, his kids, it's just like he has them hanging on to his every word, and it's just a testament to, number one, as parents, how we need to find those teachable moments. I'm very good at like letting my son know when he's done something wrong. Yeah. I'm really good at that.
Right.
I'm not so sure how well of a parent that makes me, how good of a parent that makes me. Right. I think there got to be the positive stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, I literally know people who parent that way, where it's just only the bad stuff. You know what I mean? So like, the teachable moments is what I kind of pull from that, and just having that connection with your children. Some people don't communicate with their children until they're disciplining them.
Right.
So it just gives you something to bond, a reason to bond, something a common bond. Like with my dad, we had sports. Right. Even if it wasn't anything to talk about, we could always talk about sports. We could always talk about boxing, basketball, and we could always watch games together. And my father has a lot of basketball, football, boxing knowledge. So he just kind of put that into our heads, and he just reminds me of one of those kinds of fathers, except it's talking about something totally different, and it has to deal with with things that you can take and apply to the real world, and it's outside the paradigm of what they teach you.
Traditionalism.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, man.
Yeah. It is. Now, you in the album with Eminem talking, and I gotta say, I don't know if I agree with it. He's talking. There's different parts of it, but one part in particular is he talks about the hip hop bringing people together, and I just don't know if that's true. Do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
See, it's that thing that I'm talking about. It's like, it's so good to hear perspective.
Right.
Perspective is like crazy. It's like, man, perspective. Right. That's his perspective.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's like, it's amazing the way that you can get so many people looking at the same thing so many different ways.
Right.
Because you see it your way, if that's all you know. Like, so it just shows you that, like, where you come from, how you were raised, who your parents are, who your influence are, what you're watching, what you're eating, what you're taking into your mind means everything.
Right.
And then I think about how much my perspective changes
Yeah.
Just as I grow and as your perspective can change just based off who you marry. You can marry a white girl and turn into a completely different person. Not saying there's nothing against that. I'm just saying
I hear you.
who you choose to spend your time around means everything.
Yeah.
You don't think about these things until, like something happens and your perspective is either the reason why it's happening or your perspective is the reason why you're getting out of it or you're solving it or you're moving on to some other level or you're taking on a new religion or something like that,
True story. Okay.
So it's a lot of moments like that. It's a lot of moments on my album that it gives different perspectives and it puts different situations in front of you for you to see and listen to. It's not necessarily my ideologies or my beliefs. It's just it exists and it's relative. It's important.
Yeah. Now, M is again a conversation of topic of discussion. Nick Cannon has issued a battle. What do you call it? Decree.
Battle decree.
He's challenged him again. I don't think it's the first time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's I don't know.
It's just hip hop.
Yeah, it's just
hip hop. I mean, I don't really have thoughts on it, man.
Yeah.
I'm probably just getting old.
Yeah.
Like I'm some of it is entertaining.
Yeah.
Some of it is ridiculous.
Right.
Some of it seems a little personal.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, but these are smart guys we're looking at. They're not where they are by chance.
Right.
Like I think they know what's too far. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think if they're having fun with it, if it's inspiring them, he put the battle rap guys on there. That's cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I think him putting the battle rap guys on the show is cool.
Yeah,
So I mean, as long as we can pull some type of positive out of it, it's cool. It's cool.
I'm hoping M goes at him because I would like to hear M go at him. I don't think he will, but I would like to see it happen. I love
seeing M do great things with his time. I tell you that. I like seeing him do good stuff with his time. I don't like seeing him just. This is a rabbit hole right here.
Yeah.
This is like rabbit hole behavior.
So, I want to do this right now on camera. I want to apologize to you.
For what?
For that battle years ago.
Oh, you finally admitting it.
I want to issue an apology. When Booker Ryan came out and you did the press around that, actually, I take that back. It was around Prime. We didn't talk to you for Booker Ryan, but you were going into interviews talking about that. I was like, I lost sleep. I was like, man, we really did Royce wrong. So I'm gonna send it to you when I get it. But we actually got Mr. Fab to own up to what he did. Well, he was really the one that was wrong because we laid out the. Okay, so let me explain to the audience who probably has long forgotten about this. But we had an infamous, like before battle rap, a little bit before battle rap really, really took off. We kind of put our toe in there, but we wanted to do it different than to kill you every bar and slaughter your family and degrade you or whatever battle rap. We wanted to do a celebrity battle. We had Joe Budden, you, Fonte, and the other was Mr. Fab. We wanted to represent all coast and areas in this battle, and it boiled down to just you and Mr. Fab. Joe Budden's brother got shot that night. Fonte just didn't want to do it for whatever reason, didn't come, and it just was just y'all two. So we was like, okay, the rules were you can't, nothing personal. We didn't want any shootouts to result in this. It was like no personal, just bars, just like battle raps, bars. Well, Mr. Fab is an excellent freestyler. He comes off the top. He's incredible. He just throws the rules out the window, and it just went left from there. So you're up there, right? He's kind of rapping the writtens, and he's going personal, and it just went crazy. And I was, and Joe's brother had got shot, and I'm up there like, his brother got shot. What? But at the end of the day, we had to give it to Fab, even though he broke the rules. It just got out of control, man.
Mhm.
So I just want to apologize. That's really it.
Well, I want to thank you, not for your apology. I want to thank you for lowering me into the battle and setting me up. Because
Okay.
if you hadn't done that, there wouldn't be any Slaughterhouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I did that battle, that's what got on Joe's radar, and that's what made him diss me in a song, saying that I fell off.
Wow.
And when he did that, I needed to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when he did that, I started dissing him. And instead of us going all the way into like a heated, battle rapper to rapper thing, he reached out to me. And that's how we did the first Slaughterhouse song. And that's how Slaughterhouse was formed.
Dope. So on the album, you have, you say, you come out the closet just to market your new garbage. what, we thought you might be dissing Lil Nas X or
Nah.
might,
Why would I do that?
Listen. I have always listened to your lyrics closely. I'm always looking for double meanings or no sneak dissing Lil Nas X.
Why would I do that? He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's like my son's age.
I don't know. I mean,
that would be.
There's a lot to be said about a line like that. That's a real thing. Like, I mean, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Some people don't even think he's gay. Some people think he's pretending to be gay. I'm not saying I know that or believe that, but just to say that it could be what you just said, a strategic.
Oh, that's
move.
definitely happening in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely happening. Not necessarily thinking about him per se, but I do think people are taking something as sensitive as that and using it as a marketing scheme. But I mean, that's the world we live in,
Yeah.
But me dissing him, I would never do that. He's a baby. That'd be corny.
Right. What about, you had another lyric? I haven't had a chance to really listen to the album, but listen like really intently. But you had another line in there, something about Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Cash Doll. What did you mean by that? Do you remember that?
I can't remember which song that was. What is that? Oh yeah. It was just like there's this big thing of people asking who everybody think the best female MC is out there.
Okay.
And they'd be like, "Yo, who you got? You got Nicki, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion. Who you got?" And I said, "Cash Doll."
Okay. Got you. Okay. Now in the 50 MCs debate, I tuned out. I'm not gonna lie. Like I saw the first listen and I tuned out. I definitely have you in my top 10.
Thank you, man.
For sure. Now, top 5 is tough because you're talking about G raps and people like that.
Top 10 is tough for me.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on? I mean, it's kind of an old thing, but I'm a little obsessed with you in that I'm obsessed, and I know this is something you might be sick of, but I want you to get all the roses you deserve. You know what I mean? And that's not just you. That's like Cool G Rap as well, and other folks. Ice-T. I talked to Ice-T. Same thing.
Me too. I love Ice-T, man.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, it ain't start with NWA, but where do you see things in this modern context with these lists and legacy, man? Like history. We need. I had a fierce conversation with my cousin yesterday, talking about Royce. I'm talking about, he's like, yeah, I like him. We're having a debate. And I'm like, and then we got to the end of the debate, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, what's your favorite album? He said, Book of Ryan. I said, oh, what's your second favorite album? He's like, I don't have one. I said, well, I won the debate then, because you can't talk to me about Royce. I know I'm rambling right now, but what in generally, like, how do you feel about legacy and where you stand in this big coliseum full of superheroes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lyrical superheroes.
It's important to me. It's very important to me. But I think a lot of the talking points that people use as fans, depending on where the conversation is taking place, like in what form or what realm, a lot of the talking points are just popular talking points.
Yeah.
It's just things that people are regurgitating to fit in.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like when you talk about legacy, you got to focus on doing things that can't be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because people tend to forget.
Right.
The problem with me is I refuse to market myself to you 24 hours a day.
Right. Yeah.
And go, hey, look at me. Everybody look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not something I can't do well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the only things that I do well that I can hang my hat on are the things that I don't have to try super hard to do. The things that just come natural and I can just let it flow.
Right.
I like to work that way. Every time that I reach for something or I try hard or I'm squinting hard, I can't see.
Right.
Listening too hard, I can't hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Riding up, turning music down so I can see better.
Yeah.
Can't see better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so like, that's it. Now we living in an era where everybody wants to know everybody's business. Everybody wants somebody to have some type of shenanigan.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to hang out with everybody. Everybody wants to, do all of these things. And this is not marketing. This is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes there's been times in my career and in my life where I kind of wished I could be that way, but it's just not what it is.
Yeah.
So the problem I run into a lot of times is out of sight, out of mind.
Right. Right.
It's like we don't really see Royce all the time, so it's like, and that's. I don't always want to see you. What I mean? Sometimes I just don't want to see you guys.
Yeah.
So I'd rather chill at the crib, or I'm real big on family. So
right, yeah, that's what's important too.
Yeah. So the thing is just to focus on doing things, put myself in positions to where I never have to look back and go, man, I wish I just would have hung out. You know what I mean? I just got to protect myself from that. So it's cool, man. Like. And if I could go down in certain people's eyes, it's like top 50, that's amazing. Because that's one of the reasons why I got in it. When we fell in love with it at the open mics, and it's a continual thing. Because shit, 10 years ago, man, 10 years ago is when I really was on it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't on anybody's list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I got left off all the lists. I used to complain it, Keno all the time.
Right.
We just keep working. We just kept working, try to stay consistent. I got a much better plan now. I'm in much better headspace, way more focused.
Gotcha.
And I'll just do it until I don't feel like doing it no more. I'm not gonna make an announcement that I'm retiring and no shit like that. I'm just gonna be like fade off into obscurity.
Like an old gangster or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't happen too soon, man. I really appreciate the evolution, man. Evolution is a wonderful, wonderful thing, man.
It's not celebrated enough, man. Like people in this business really think that they can stay young forever, and they do everything they can to not look young, and they look older.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's crazy right now, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, no disrespect to anybody. This is not personal to anyone, but if I get tired of people going back to the old me, like, this album is when I was, 88.
It'll never work.
That's no shots.
It'll never work.
Right.
It'll never work.
Cat's been to 88 like 5 times already. Nah, man, but it's all good, man. I got to give you a big salute, bro. I appreciate you, man. Seriously.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And, all hip hop always got your back, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, let me, that's just considered at the end of the interview. Now, I want your top 5 boxers that are alive. Did I ever asked you that before?
I don't think so. Top 5?
Top 5 boxers.
All weight classes? And is it 5?
What? Of course.
5.
Yeah, top 5.
I don't know, man. Can I have 5? That's it?
Oh, you want more than 5?
From all eras?
Yeah. You can have more than 5 if you really, want to. We definitely got, you know what I mean?
I mean, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Mike Tyson, Floyd, Julian Jackson. I mean, that's 5 of my favorite fighters of all time, right there. 5 of them. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. See, it's not 5. It's not 5. It's not 5. No, what I did was I just named 5 fighters that came to my mind. Like,
That's tough.
it's not a top 5. It ain't a top 5. I get mad.
But you're personal, like so,
No. I just named 5 people that I love
right
with my heart.
Right, exactly. That's
And then he just said Tommy Hearns, and I love Tommy Hearns with my heart. You can't take nobody off of Tommy, huh?
So Tommy don't make that list.
Yeah, he make the list.
What would you take off?
You can't take nobody off.
Okay. Kid,
Can't take nobody off.
Man.
Nah, man, you're not supposed to make it hard like that for a boxing buff.
Right.
Huh? See, because I'm going to feel bad.
Right.
I actually feel bad. I love these people.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
These men raised me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Rate his kids to top 5. He probably give you that.
Ask what?
Huh?
You probably rate your kids top 5 quicker than box.
Top 5.
No, I would never do such a thing.
Oh my God, you have a favorite kid. Who's your favorite kid?
I never do that. I got daughters, man. I get killed.
Right. Have you ever considered diving a little deeper into the boxing world?
I thought about it. I told myself, Keno asked me if I wanted to do a podcast. I told him no, and then right after I told him no, I started talking way more.
Mm-hmm.
I never know what I'm gonna do, man. Yeah. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I just let it. I just let it flow. So I don't know, but I'm learning to just keep a more open mind about things for the future, possibilities for the future.
Okay, we did that one thing with Andreas, like that one-off, and then it just never went nowhere. Me and Andreas were supposed to do Knockout Nation. It just didn't go nowhere.
That would be cool too.
Yeah.
Huh? Yep.
Yeah. That's my guy there. All right, man. Oh, I appreciate you once again. Salute.
Thank you, man. Always good to see you, big bro.
Definitely.
Appreciate you.